Peace and love, and welcome to Black Diamond Worldwide Outreach. Today we are on week 5 of 7 of our Christmas holiday 2022 shopping list. And today our topic is how to begin living your best life. So for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about the birth of Jesus, because people always say that Jesus is the reason for the season. So I always love to look at the story of Jesus, because Jesus came and said, I am that I am. So every time I look at the birth of Jesus, I look at the birth of the I am within each and every one of us. The I am in me, the I am in you. And so we're going to just break down the events of the birth of Jesus. Today we're going to be talking about what happened before the actual birth of Jesus. Next week we will talk about what was going on while Jesus was being born. And then the third and final week of the year, we will talk about what happened after the birth of Jesus. So I'm very excited to share this series with you. It is, of course, a metaphysical translation, but I know for sure that as we go through these steps, as we go through what we're talking about today and for the next 2 weeks, that you will truly see how we're bringing out that Christ consciousness, how we're bringing out the I am within us. But first, we got to be ready. We got to be ready for this new life that we're writing down for our holiday shopping list. We have to be ready for this new experience, all the new experiences that we see happening in our lives as we go into the new I am within us. So, put your fist in the air and affirm with me, I am ready to live my best life. One more time, as loud as you can. I am ready to live my best life. As Iyanla says, take a breath. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, the first thing before we get into anything, right, I want to just break down why the birth of Jesus is so important and why looking at it metaphysically, translating it into how we live our daily lives and how we accomplish things in our daily lives is so important. We must remember that any vision that you have for yourself is a yearning for the I am. It's a yearning for the new I am Christ consciousness, right? Whatever you want to be will be expressed in the I am phrase, right? So whatever you're writing down on your holiday shopping list, right? Whatever you're saying, you want to be a teacher, you want to work at some big company or some small company, you want to open your own business, you want to be a business owner, you want to be rich, you want to be married, you want to be peaceful, you want to be less of a jerk. Whatever it is that you're putting on. And just remember that this holiday shopping list is not just for material things, but it's also for physical things. If you want a change in personality, a change in the relationships in your life, a change in your mode of transportation, whatever you desire, and you're putting on your holiday shopping list, you must remember that it is a yearning for the I am. Because if we're saying, I want to be a teacher, the fulfillment of that, right? The working out of that goal, any goal that we have, is to finally say, I am a teacher, right? We're going from I want to be to I am. So in order for us to get to the I am, we must remember that first of all, being a successful person in life is learning how to juggle those I ams. We're so many things all at the same time. We're a brother, a sister, a man, a woman, a resident of a country, a city, a town, right? We're family members. We are commuters. If you take the train, if you, drive to work, you're in that. You're nice, you're mean, you're married, you're single, you're a patient of a doctor, right? You're a parent, a child. We have all these I ams happening all at once. But the thing is, how do we juggle all of these I ams and still remain peaceful, right? Because we can have a good relationship with our boss, but at home is a mess. We can have a good relationship with our parents, but our relationship with our children are a mess, right? So how do we juggle all these I ams and all the emotions that come in with those I ams? When you think of all the things that you are, all the things you can say, I am whatever. What are the feelings? What are the emotions that come up with that phrase, with everything that comes after the I am? We must know that to know that we are God in expression, we must also know that we produce and give birth to the I am. So this is how we relate it to the birth of Jesus. Just as God's child was Jesus, us, as the expression of God, our offspring is our desire. Our offspring is our goal. Our offspring is the way we live our lives. So as God is to Jesus, so are we to our lives, to our outcomes, to our goals, to what we produce in the world. So every day, in every way, we are giving birth to our dreams. Or at least, at the very least, we are nurturing our dreams so that we can eventually give birth to them. Put your fist in the air and affirm with me. I give birth to my dreams. I give birth to my dreams. So, that's what we're understanding now, right? That as we look at, since Jesus said, I am that I am, the I am is within us. Whatever we want to express, however, whatever I am we want to get to, follows this story of the birth of Jesus. Now, it's also important to remember that every character in the story of the birth of Jesus matters, right? So, like I said, for the next, this week, next week, and the third week will be our final week for the year. We will look at all of these characters, how they play a role, and how the personality especially, and what these people do are a part of us and a great part of us. So, today we're looking at what happened before the birth of Jesus. Now, we all know the story, but let's get deeper into it. Now, the first person that is the most important, obviously, is Mary. Mary was the mother of Jesus. Mary was young, but she came from a powerful lineage, right? She was pure. She was a virgin, which can be metaphysically translated into her being uncorrupted, right? She was uncorruptible, right? She could not be swayed by any outside forces. She was so powerful that when it was time for her to do her thing, to, give birth or to nurture the Christ spirit, the Christ consciousness, she was the correct person. In studying this in school, they were saying that the people back in that day when Mary was pregnant, she was so holy. She was so in tune to the God consciousness within her and within the world, that when she became pregnant with Immaculate Conception, everyone found out, they were thinking like, well, if anybody were to be, conceived with the Holy Spirit, it would be Mary, just because of the type of person that she was. And we learned that Mary was pregnant by Immaculate Conception, right? The angel came to her directly and said, this is what is going to happen in your life. You're going to give birth to someone who is going to be a savior. And Mary was confused because even though she had spent her life in the convent and, she was very spiritual, she still knew the ways of the world. In other words, where babies come from. So when she got pregnant, she's like, that ain't right. I didn't do anything to get pregnant. What is going on? Let's put Mary aside for a second. The second major character is Joseph. Now, Joseph was older. He was more spiritual, more experienced. There are some records that show that he was a widower, so he was married before, so he knew the world, not like Mary did. He knew the world, right? And his vision of what was going on came to him through in a dream, right? So whereas Mary had that direct contact with the angel, Joseph's realization of what was going on came to him in a dream, and he was not going to marry Mary. We can all understand this, right? He found out that she was pregnant, and he's like, well, we ain't doing anything, because he knew also where babies come from. So he's like, well, we ain't doing anything, so what's really good, you know? And he was able to accept what was happening and move on. We'll get back to Joseph in a second. The third major character in the story of the birth of Jesus is my favorite. I mean, they're all my favorites, right? Because they all can teach us something great. But to me, the most powerful character is Elizabeth. Now, Elizabeth was Mary's cousin. Elizabeth was the wife of Zacharias. He was a high priest in that time. And he and his wife, Elizabeth, were both barren. They were old and they were barren, right? And the thing was that they wanted to have children so badly. And here Zacharias was so faithful, so holy. You know, he was one of the persons that whatever spiritual work needed to be done, people went to Zacharias. And imagine, we get to that point sometimes, that we're praying, we're faithful, we're affirming, we're doing our Christmas shopping list, and nothing seems to be happening. Nothing seems to be unfolding the way we want it to or the way it should be unfolding. And it's very tempting to detour and say, well, I've been, searching for God all this time and, praying and doing all of this and it's not working out. Let me do the bad things in life, right? But we must remain faithful. Now, here is why I love the story of Elizabeth, right? So, 6 months, I believe, into Mary's pregnancy, she decided to go visit Elizabeth. And Mary knew that she was giving birth to this wonderful energy that was going to fill the world with goodness, this Christ consciousness, right? And she went there to find that Elizabeth was pregnant. Again, she was old. They already named her barren. So it means that no matter how hard her and Zacharias tried, they would never, ever, ever, ever have children because her body and his body wasn't equipped to produce children. Now, let's bring these all together. Let's bring these three characters and their personalities together. First of all, we must believe that so-called miracles are possible. We look at things that are not the status quo, right? We look at things that are impossible, miraculous, and we say, oh my God, it's too good to be true. But with man, some things may be possible, some things may not be possible, but with God, all things are possible. Look at Elizabeth. She was barren. And this always reminds me of the scripture where it says, I will restore to you the years that the locust had eaten. God was faithful to Elizabeth and Zacharias the more they prayed, and it was past the time for them to produce children. Their bodies were not equipped for it, especially Elizabeth, but it happened anyway. Look at Mary. Now, I could just, first of all, I love the consciousness of Joseph, because any man, woman, anybody in a relationship, right? If your partner could get pregnant, we all know where babies come from by now, hopefully. If not, maybe I'll do another motivational talk on that. But we all know how it happens, right? I always think that if it were to happen in these times, would Joseph have gone to the Maury Povich? Is it Maury that they do the paternity test or paternity court, right? Where they go, Joseph, you are not the father. And then you would see Mary like bolt out. Elizabeth, her cousin, would be they always have some sassy cousin or auntie that'd be like, that baby look just like him. And they go to the TV and be, look. Look at Joseph's eyes. Look at Jesus' eyes. It looked just like him, Would it be that? Would it be that interesting in our lives? Who knows? But The great thing about the story of Jesus, the story of Mary and Joseph, is that Mary brings in the energy of youth and Joseph brings in the wisdom of age. The important thing to remember, though, with Mary's part of the story is what we call immaculate conception, right? She didn't do the normal things that were to be done to produce a baby or to start growing a baby within her stomach, but it was more of spontaneous combustion, let's call it, right? And, we talk about like scientists go between the God making the earth or spontaneous combustion. One day our planet was just here. But our dreams come about sometimes through spontaneous combustion. I remember one of my favorite subjects in high school was biology because we had a teacher that was just so far out. He made us love biology. We dissected, I think, all types of animals that year. But the one story that he gave to us was that he grew up in the country. And every day he would have to clean the house and the shed and the barn and whatever, and he would clean it with these rags. And his father told him, when you're finished with the rags, rinse them out and, hang them out to dry. But he would always just leave them on the floor. And every time he left the rags on the floor, he would come back and there would be mice kind of living in the rags because they found a nice warm place to live. And in his young mind, right, he believed that because he left the rags at a certain place, that is what produced the mice. Because he wasn't there to see the mice run in and start their lives in this rag, in this warm place where they were just, trying to find warmth. In his mind, he was saying that it's spontaneous combustion. Somehow, when I leave rags here, the mice are produced. We all know that that is not true. That's not how life comes into this world. But imagine that immature thought. Some of us are in that spot. Some of us believe that there are certain ways that our goals can only be fulfilled. There are certain things that we must do in order to produce our goals, but life is telling us, the universe is telling us, this all-universal force is telling us that with God, all things are possible. With God, there can be miracles in our world. With God, there can be spontaneous combustion in our thoughts and in our goals. That we can sit down just as normally as we live, and there can be ideas. There can be new ways of living. There can be a change in consciousness, a change in finances, a change in our lives through that spontaneous combustion. This is what Mary comes to show us. That we do not have to go the regular route for life as long as we remain pure. As long as we remain open to the presence and power of God, we will get ideas. We will give birth to something that will save us and the world. When we look at Joseph, imagine the thoughts that Joseph had. Again, would he go to Maury? Would he find out the paternity of his child? I mean, he already knew, but would he still go? Joseph comes to show us that with all the doubt in the world, with all the fear, with all the worry that must be going through his mind, there is still intuition. We must trust that as we're getting this, that our intuition is our connection to this all-universal force. We must trust it. And as we use this intuition now, we know that the fear, the doubt, the worry, the complaining, whatever it is, it will subside, right? If you're scared, do it scared. If you're scared to reach your goal, do it scared. The one thing I remember, the one saying I remember is, the one thing that a soldier and a coward have in common is fear. So it means then, what will you do from that point? What will you do from the point where you are in this world? Will you let the conditions in your life dictate if you fail or win, if you quit or keep going, if you succeed or not. Know that you have a force behind you that will give you your heart's desire. And then we go into Elizabeth, Mary's cousin. Sometimes in our lives, we feel that we're past the time of reaching our desire, just like how Elizabeth was barren. But here it is that even in her barren years, even when she thought that her body could not support a child, guess what? It did. It was able to do so. And guess what? So can your mind. So can your body. So can your life. So can your finances, right? Wherever you feel that you are tapped out, you are just running on empty, you can't go any further. The all-universal force is there to remind you that you are a survivor. That no matter what the condition in your life, your dream will survive. Your goals will survive. Your life will survive whatever you are going through, and you will come out on top. Put your fist in the air and affirm with me, there is no condition my dream can't survive. One more time, there is no condition my dream can't survive. So now you know that with all the fear, with all the doubt, there is still you. There is still your vision. There is still your goal. So let's do a vision exercise now. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose. Close your eyes. You don't have to look at me for this, right? I'm still going to be good looking. So you could just close your eyes now and turn within. Turn within to yourself. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And think about all of the things that you are accumulating on your Christmas shopping list, your holiday shopping list, all the things that you want for this new and exciting year in your life. Let's start seeing how it will work in our world. See your morning routine. What time are you getting up in your new dream, in your new goal, in your new relationships, right? See your mind and your body, your blood even, fulfilled in God. That your mind is ready for this new experience. Your body has the energy for this new experience. The blood flowing through your veins is ready and pumping in the right speed at the right time, in and out of your heart in this new experience, in this fulfillment of God. How do you wake up? What's your morning routine? What's your commute in this new vision you have for yourself? Who are the people in your world that will fulfill and encourage this vision? What are the relationships, whether they be personal, social, business, financial? What is this new way of life giving you, this new dream that you are being, that you want to see fulfill? What is that giving you? How will you sleep? Will you sleep well, not worrying about the things that will happen or can happen or are happening in your new vision? What do your weekends look like, your downtime, your vacation time? See it all from the beginning and know that it is wonderful. Every part of your dream, from the start of the day to the end of the day, from the start of the week to the end of the week, from the start of the month to the end of the month, from the start of the year after year after year, your goal is wonderful. Your goal is fulfilling. Your goal is giving you all that you need in your life right here and right now. Smile. Hopefully you've been smiling all through this vision exercise, but just smile and open your eyes. Look out into your world. If you want to change your scenery, see what you want changed right here and right now. And I know for sure you can do you can say what Mary said when she first saw Elizabeth. The baby started to jump for joy, and records in the scripture in Luke. And she said, "My soul magnifies the Lord. My spirit rejoices in God." I know for sure that with your dream, you can always affirm, "My soul magnifies the Lord. My soul magnifies the new I am in me. My spirit rejoices." And now, as a closing, let's do our holiday shopping list affirmation. Fists in the air, affirm with me. This holiday season, I speak my word for good. All that I desire or could ever need in my life is mine. I am fulfilled. I am joyful. I am excited for the blessings I have spoken for myself for 2022. My dreams are alive and real. My dreams are alive in real time, right here and right now. It is so. It is so. It is so. Remember to go to our website, blackdiamondworldwide.org, and go to the holiday shopping list. The affirmation that we just did is there. We'll be doing that for the next 2 weeks. And just working our shopping list, bringing that energy that we wish to see and accumulate in our life. So that is what happened before the birth of Jesus, just that preparation, all these thoughts, doubts, miracles, disappointments, all these things are leading up to something great. Friends, stick with it. Stick with it and know that you are giving birth to something great and wonderful. So again, next week we're going to be delving into what was going on during the birth of Jesus. And then the third and final week of the year for us, we will be looking at what happened after the birth of Jesus and how that happens in our life. Always remember, you are worth a good dream. You are worth all that you desire. Live it, love it, see it. Merry Christmas to you. I love you. Be blessed.